Personnel Committee will come to order. We have 3 items on the agenda for tonight, Mr. Jinko. I think you have the first one.
Yes, sir.
Oh, first of all, Ms. Cindy, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Moore,
Here?
Miss Abrams, here. Ms. Dominguez, Mr. Piazza, here. Mr. Duncan.
Okay, we have 3 items on the agenda. Mr. Jinko, yours first.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. We have been throwing a net to try to catch bus drivers, and our net that we're pulling in sometimes is not quite as full of individuals as we'd like. Ms. Stilley received a contact by someone that thought about asking us to drop or have preferred for a high school diploma. So that's what we come to you tonight with, that option to hopefully have us cast a little bigger net to catch a few more individuals, understanding they're still going to have to pass the CDL test and the other requirements that are needed to get a bus driver certification in Louisiana.
Okay, are there, I get a motion?
I make a motion to accept.
A second. A second.
Okay,
Can I
motion made
among
by
this
Mr.
committee?
Piazza, second by Ms. Robbins. Are there any discussions on this item?
I did have one. I know we put on here preferred. If administration would be okay, I'd like to just scratch number 2, and that way, and let HR just make that decision on them when they get the applicant. I know it says preferred. I just don't want somebody to look at it and go, well, I don't want to apply because I may not have one. If somebody comes before me and has one, I don't want to get overlooked for it. But again, that's administration. I just wanted to have that discussion on the board.
The individual that had contacted me had recommended that, there are people out there that do not have a high school diploma for whatever reason. Maybe they went to 11th grade or, and was not able to finish, that would be great bus drivers. And so when we went back and looked at it wasn't a state requirement that they have a high school diploma. It was our local policy. So we just thought that that was something the board may want to consider, is dropping that high school diploma requirement on this particular job description. Because quite frankly, if they can pass the CDL and go through all of that and get all of that, they can definitely read and write.
Right.
So are you making a request to amend it before we go?
I'm going to make a motion to amend and scratch through number 2 and just eliminate that whole section to where it takes it off completely. So yes, I'd like to make a motion to amend the administration's recommendation, which I think has to go to a vote.
So it'd be to delete 2 and renumber.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Cindy, can we call for a vote on the amendment?
Yes, sir. Voting is open.
You left off renumber.
I did what? I'm sorry.
You
What?
gotta delete it and renumber it.
Oh. Okay, voting is open.
I saved it, and then it made my change. Okay.
Okay, well, let me close it again. Voting is open.
You gotta go up there and do change vote.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Hold on, move
All
to
right, so
adopt.
yeah,
Move to adopt as amended.
Second.
okay, the motion to adopt as amended has been made and second. Made by Mr. Duncan, second by Mr. Piazza. Ms. Cindy, we call for a vote on the item.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, the second item on the agenda, consider approval of the revisions to the Office Assistant 3 job description. Mr. McNeely?
Good evening. I believe that you received copies of the old as well as the new that we're proposing. So for instance, we're just trying to update the job descriptions. For instance, for the office assistant, the job description had transcribes, dictation, correspondence, minutes, reports. I think it had stenography and shorthand and some other things that we don't really do anymore. So we're just asking to update.
Move to adopt.
It has been moved to adopt by Mr. Duncan. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Piazza. Are there any discussions on this item? No discussions. Ms. Cindy, we call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, the next is for school secretary. I want to clarify, we're not changing the job description for all school secretaries. It's specifically for those functioning as an 11-month financial account clerk for the schools. We've advertised for this position a couple of times, and the overwhelming number of candidates that applied actually were applying for a school secretary position because that's how the job description. So this clearly shows it's the same position, it's the same pay scale, but working as a financial account clerk, there are some financial requirements as far as bank reconciliation and be able to do basic level accounting.
So this is adding an additional job description just for this.
Right.
Move to adopt the administration's recommendation.
Second.
Has been moved by Mr. Duncan, second by Mr. Piazza. Are there any discussions on this item?
So this is going to be, the school secretary is going to actually be doing the finance accounting part of it now? Am I
They have
understanding?
been, the financial account clerks, that is a school secretary position in our job descriptions and in our positions.
Didn't we normally have like I'm thinking way back, we had a school secretary that worked up front, then we had a finance secretary that worked in the back. Isn't that how we normally had them? It's still that?
But technically, they were both school secretaries.
Okay.
And so in trying to differentiate, that's what this, so it's what you're saying.
Okay.
It's how it's functioned, but this is now getting in the job description.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other discussions on this item? Ms. Cindy, we call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
There being no other items for the Personnel Committee, committee is adjourned.